Press it back, and we last left off. We were halfway up the tower. We just hit floor 16, and we're heading back up. And same as the other half, the first half of the tower, we're getting these little areas where we have to choose the right door, which just so happens to be the left one, in order to proceed up the tower. If you choose the wrong one, then you get into that, like everyone said, one of those like little boss fights, or mini boss type fights, I guess, because they're even though two of the enemies were used to be bosses, they're so weak at this point that they're more like mini bosses. And here we're on the 20th floor, second to last pot. In the meantime, I finished up leveling some of the folks. So I got Kara a little bit of things. So now she was able to master Chemist with that final pot. And now that just means that everybody has mastered all the jobs except for Whiskers, who has to master the Chemist job yet. So he'll get a good start on that here. It costs 630 points, I believe, to max fully. And so he'll get, 100 of that, at least here. He already started with, I think, 10, because from the some of the northern mountain fights. So we'll make a good dent into it here, about a sixth of the dent, and hopefully he'll master by the end of the playthrough. So we're just gonna continue up here, get into our final floor where we're gonna get pots here, and we get the 25. And this time, this pot doesn't contain a Phoenix down like the previous 4 magic pots did. This one will contain an Aevis killer bow, which basically is just a bow that guarantees critical hits against avian monsters. So those big rooks, or the Toad Aevises in the water shrine, they're all able to be critical hit by that. So we continue up the tower. There's only 30 floors in this tower, thankfully, because if there's any more, I think I start going crazy. Oh, man. And they throw you a little weird thing here on the 29th floor. There's only one way to go. It's just you have to hit the center. If you try to hit to the right or the left, like the previous ones, you don't get it. And we're finally on the 30th floor, and hey, it's the Hiryu. Hiryu. This was the one that... It's Waterworld's Hiryu. This is the Windrake that saved you? Yep. Because Galif's Hiryu is still at the Ball Castle. Because we never took that off. So... what's it doing? It's flying away. Hiryu, what are you doing? Yeah, I just asked that question. He says he wants to help you. Krill can talk to animals. I wonder if most humans would want to be able to talk with their animals. If they could. Most of us would probably just keep telling you, hey, we want some treats. Because we love our treats. And the Hiryu is falling down the tower. And he's turning red. What's happening? Well, remember what that one person said, if a dragon falls off the tower, it's reborn as a phoenix. That's what must be happening here. Lena, Hiryu knew he didn't have much longer to live. That means, in the ancient forest when he saved me, he seemed he came to this tower so he could help me with the last of his power. He must have knew the legend too. Maybe it's like ingrained into all their brains. Hiryu. And here we're going to get a flashback of Lena's history with the Hiryu. What do you mean Mother's not going to make it? Dear, the doctor did his best. It seems the only thing that can cure her is a Windrake's tongue. Oh, no. Lena, where are you going with that knife? Certainly you don't mean to. Stop! Sire, I'll go. And here we have a little cutscene choice. Princess Lena, kill him, and you'll have finished off the last of the Windrake. What's more, The Queen Mother has always cared deeply for Hiryu. Will you still cut out his tongue? So I'm just going to make a quick save state here. And I'm going to say, yes. And if we do that, the king comes and he slaps you. You fool. Mother. What happens if we say no? Princess, your father used to come here every day, debating what to do. But perhaps it's for the best. Mother. So yeah, either choice, nothing really changes. You can never save Lena's mother, and Faris's mother for that matter. But the Hiryu comes back as the Phoenix. And the Phoenix extrusts its power to Lena. The Phoenix summon, if you summon it, what it does is it flies across the screen and does fire damage because it's a fire elemental, and it revives one of your it revives the characters in your party who have been knocked out. So it's a good way to, I guess, revive your characters and deal some damage at the same time. So we're only missing 2 more summons there. We know one of them is Ramu. What could the other one be? Well, we're probably going to find that summon in our next dungeon that we go to. Because we still have one more dungeon to do. We have finished the final side quest in this Mage world. So now all you have to do is just finish up the tablet quest that we got. And I was just checking out my magic there. I think the one sword is mute. That's a white magic spell, one of the sword magics. But since we didn't buy any white magic, that's why we don't have that sword there. So we'll just head back to our Chocobo. And it's been a while, but we picked up the black Chocobo at the Mirage village, the Phantom village. So it's probably quicker to get there by going north, because, the world wraps around itself. And here we're at the Crescent Isle, so we just have to, well, no longer Crescent Island, so we just have to head down a little bit here. We've got to get back to our airship, because in order to get to the final tablet dungeon, we are going to need the submarine, and that's part of the airship. So we'll just fly around here. And the final tablet is up by Istory Falls. So I'm gonna park here. I'm gonna stop in, heal myself up here in Tool, because this dungeon, well, it's the last tablet dungeon. It's gonna be the toughest one. So that's why it's good that we kind of did those little side quests there. We gained a lot of experience, gained a lot of job levels, and everybody is pretty set to go. Everybody, with the exception of Whiskers, has mastered all of their jobs. And I kind of just put them in the jobs where I think they have, the best sprites. Of all the characters, I think Faris has the neatest Beastmaster, and Krill has the nicest Black Mage, and Lena looks okay as the... looks probably the best as the Time Mage, so and then Whiskers, he's gonna be the our Chemist, so by lack of elimination. So yeah, some jobs are kind of similar in judging on how they look. Some have clear contenders that look really good. For instance, Whiskers always makes the best looking dragoon. At least I think so. Sarissa Faris makes the best dancer. So there's a few jobs, but some of them aren't clear cut. But with this party and these jobs I have, these are the choices that I made. So. And we just got a short little cave here. Looks almost like the one to the village more from the previous world. But we take this cave and we end up here to the waterfall. And we can walk behind this waterfall. And that takes us to the final tablet dungeon, the Istory Falls. And like all the other previous 3 tablet dungeons, we have to take out a pair of gargoyles. Protected by water beyond its falling torrents, one tablet resides. The gimmick in this one is we have those little waterfalls up to the upper right there, you see, and they can kind of push you around. They're kind of like little conveyor belts. So sometimes in order to get from one platform to another, you got to jump into the waterfall and have it push you around. So, and here's the first of our new enemies. Many of the enemies in here are water elementals, so they are weak to lightning. So we're going to get a lot of work out of our Bolt 3 spells in this area. So, here we have good old Aqua Gels. Take him out with 2 Bolt 3 spells. Easy peasy. And victory is ours. Yay! And we can't go up that waterfall. See, it just pushes you back down. So sometimes you're going to have to jump down the waterfall and push it around you to get to some of these treasure chests. So we'll get that one. A Total Shell. It's a mixture item that we can use. And see that treasure chest over there? In order to get to that one, we're going to have to get pushed down that waterfall. There to the right, so boink! And we get an ether. And this map is a little confusing. I'm trying to look at how it is off screen here. Because it all blends. I have a little trouble telling all the colors together. What can I say? I'm a little rat. I don't have the best color vision to begin with. All these blues, they all blend in together. But I'll find my way, minions, and you can use this as a guide to help you. And now I'm going to help you, guide you, and to beat this enemy, the Tonberry. He's kind of like he becomes a mascot of Final Fantasies later on in the game, in future editions. He makes appearance again in 6, in 7, and from then on, he becomes like an Esper in 8. And I don't know anything beyond that because 8's as far as I've ever played. This guy's pretty tough. You can see he almost has 40,000 hit points. You can win another Mirage Vest off of him. What this guy does is he kind of slowly inches his way across the screen. And when he gets next to you, he gets really close to you, he uses this really strong physical attack that ignores your character's defense. It's a knife. See, he has that little knife in his right hand. Yeah, he just stabs you. Thankfully, it's not an instant kill, but it does deal a lot of damage. It could almost take you down, to single digits or 100-digit hit points. So, definitely does in excess of 1,000 damage. So. Yep, so we want to take this guy out real quick, and one way you can do that is, of course, with the quick spell. That'll let Lena, because she's the Time Mage right now, let her, cast 2 really strong spells, be they Flare or the Meteor. So, he just keeps, you think you see him, like, dissolving there, and you're thinking, oh, I finally beat him, and then it turns out he didn't beat him, he's just getting closer to you. So yeah, it's kind of like, it's like kind of like one of those horror movies where the bad guy's sneaking closer to you, and he's like slowly inching his way to you, building up that tension. So, but we're gonna hit him with meteors. Yeah, you might have a knife, but we can rain down meteors on you. Meteors win. Yep. And like I said, that quick spell gives you two turns basically in a row. So that's a whole bunch of meteors jumped on him. Not as strong as the meteor in Final Fantasy 4 that basically did maxed out damage, but I guess it makes up for it because that meteor in that game had a really long casting time. And over here we have the air knife. And what this air knife does is you can actually, it increases the potency of wind elemental. So if you have the air knife equipped on someone like a summoner, and then they use the Sildra summon, which is kind of an air elemental, it can do almost as much damage as the Bahamut summon for a fraction of the cost. So really, really, good use for that little knife there. So pales in comparison in terms of damage, though, to the chicken knife, but. And here we have another enemies who pale in comparison hit point wise to that Tonberry. Yeah, these guys are pretty easy, only 500 hit points. Even though they have no elemental weakness, you can take them out with a simple, any elemental 3 spell. Finish them off easy. And we take them Mercury bats out. Speaking of Mercury, did you know that a hug without you is toxic? Because hug is H-U-G, and the chemical symbol for Mercury is Hg. So if you take out the U, a hug without you, you get Mercury, which is toxic. And here we get a Rune Blade. And here we have another new enemy, the Coral. They are weak to lightning, so we're just gonna hit them with lightning. Makes sense, minions, doesn't it? If something's weak to lightning, hit it with lightning. Yep. Or you can just have Faris do her best Devo impersonation and whip it. Whip it good. Whip it good. If the cream sits out too long, you must whip it. I like whipped taters. They're so tasty. My daddy was out with his Zumba buddies last night, and they went out to eat after Zumba class together. And he said that he went to Chili's, and he was never at Chili's before, and he had the potato soup, and he said it was really, really good. Because it was like a vegetarian option. Now, minions, I'm going to do something really, really bad here. You see, if you hit that switch, that waterfall stops. And you can't walk fast enough to get that waterfall, to get that treasure chest. But I want to get 100% completion. What can I do? Well, I'm going to have to cheat a little bit, minions. I'm going to quick change one of my characters to the thief who can dash. And then that way I can hit the switch, dash over there, get that treasure chest, and then I'll switch out of the thief. But yeah, so I'm just sort of cheating here. And I kind of cheat on this battle. Now, one thing you can do is, that lady, I did something really dumb. That lady has a frog, and she basically says some dialogue. And in that dialogue, what you're supposed to do is like use that dialogue to take her out, and then you're just left with a simple frog. But if you don't do that, and you like say you let it go too long, she'll cast the toads. She'll give like basically a maiden's kiss to that toad, and it'll turn into a monster. And I just did that. I just used the maiden's kiss on that monster to show that it changed. Otherwise, I would take that thing out real quick. And unfortunately, I got one of the really strong monsters. It can turn into several different monsters. I don't know all the monsters it can turn into, but unfortunately for us, it turned into the Ghidra monster, which is really, really tough. And hit us with that tidal wave thing. And but you know, hey, you learn from your mistakes, minions. And you can learn from my mistakes too. And while I'm using a lot of stuff here, like potions and elixirs and Phoenix Downs, well, it was okay. It wasn't for not minions, because what this little experiment taught me was how to better fight this guy. And 2, it taught me that I totally forgot to equip the coral rings on my characters. Yeah, you should probably put coral rings on characters because there's a lot of water monsters in here, and the boss is going to use a lot of water attacks. So all those coral rings that we bought way back in the Phantom Village, good to use here because they will absorb a lot of those water attacks. So I'm using a lot of items here, but that's okay because we're going to use another item coming up soon. Remember the Phoenix Tower minions? Yep, we have that rod, that Wonder Rod. Yep, so all we have to do is just use that Wonder Rod, and we can just reset the battle. So, or we can just or you can also just cast the reset spell. Either one. And we get all those items back. So, hey, reset, really good thing. And now we know how to better fight this guy. And we're just gonna not worry about turning that toad into a new monster. and just focused all our attacks on that Alchemia, just kind of short for alchemy, I guess. Which I guess makes sense because alchemy is like the transmutation of one element to another, and she transforms a frog into another monster. So, see? We'll just focus all our firepower on her. And what'll end up happening is that frog will be totally defenseless. And then we can take him out at our leisure. So if you're playing along, means you're using this as a guide before you play along, take out the lady first, and then you just have the toad to deal with. And the toad won't be able to really do anything. He'll just sit there and get hit by ice threes. Yep. So, why did the hotel hire a frog? It needed a bellhop. And the bar hired a frog because it wanted a bouncer. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to quick change Lena to a thief. And the thief has the dash ability. Which makes you just run really, really fast. We hit that button and we run. And we're able to grab the ring before the waterfall pushes us away. And now we can just put her back into her job that she was in. Her time mage job. So yeah, I cheated a little bit there. I broke this 4-job Fiesta thing to use the thief. But I wanted to get the 100% treasure to show you where all the stuff is, minions. So that's a small price to pay, I think. So now I said, hey, let's put those coral rings on there. And give us some good protection. Whiskers had that flame ring on. That's why it was taking so much damage from water. So now we got the coral rings on there. And now we can make our way down to the south here. And find a good stopping point here at B3, halfway through the dungeon, just like halfway through the Phoenix Tower. And we'll pick up next time, minions, right here. So hope to see you then. Take care. Bye.